Now let's have a look at an example that involves backward scanning. Okay, so this is the same network that we did the forward scanning example on before, and I've left the values in the top boxes in there. So with forward scanning, if you recall, forward scanning works out the earliest start time, the EST. Okay, if you remember what that was. If you don't know what that is, that basically means what is the earliest I can start an activity without it really impacting the project. Okay, so for an example, activity, let's say for example, activity A starts at midnight. I can start activity B, okay, at 1 a.m. I can't start it any earlier than 1 a.m. Activity E starting at midnight, okay, for example, gets to this vertex here, but activity F and activity C cannot start any earlier than say 5 a.m. Okay, so again, sometimes I like to use actual time of day to help understand this idea of earliest start time. So now let's have a look at latest start time. We can see that, for example, activity B could be started a little bit later. We do have a little bit of leeway there, but we may not have any leeway anywhere else. So how we're going to do this, okay, we're going to use the bottom boxes, and we're going to start off at the 12-hour mark, okay, or basically the end box should look identical top and bottom, okay. The 12 and the 12, obviously, I mean, we're starting from 12 and going to go backwards. We're going to end up at 0. Okay, so the start box and the end box should look, the top and bottom boxes should be identical to each other. We're going to do the same thing now as forward scanning, except we're just going to do everything in reverse. Okay, instead of adding numbers, we're going to subtract numbers. Instead of putting in the number that's highest in a box, we're going to put the number that's lowest. Okay, so everything is basically flipped. It's back to front. Everything is just the opposite of what we did with forward scanning. All right, so let's begin. 12, okay, minus 4. There's really only one way to get to this vertex here. So starting with the blue numbers now, 12 minus 4 is 8. Okay, we can see that activity D, there's no leeway there. Okay, we start at 8. We can't do it we can't start activity D any later. Okay, we start the earliest and latest, in fact, identical to each other. Now, there's two ways we can get to this vertex here. This is above the 5, okay? So 12, going through activity F, 12 minus 6, okay, is 6. We've also got 8 minus 3 is 5. We put the lower of the two numbers this time instead of the higher, okay? So we put 5 there, all right? Okay, so far, again, we've shown that there's no leeway, okay, or float time, basically, for any of these activities. Let's now go through activity B now. So, again, we're using the blue numbers. 5 minus 2, okay, that gives us 3. Okay, notice now with activity B, the top number and the bottom number is different now. That means that we do have a little bit of leeway with activity B. Starting activity A, we can wait up to 2 hours. This is what this is saying, before we start activity B, and it will not delay activity C or F, okay, and it won't even delay the project in its entirety, okay. Now going now to the start, okay, the blue number has to be a 0. Now just to show you why, again, 3 minus 1, okay, gets us back to the start. So going through activity A, 3 minus 1 is 2. We've also have this number here from this vertex going through activity E. 5 minus 5, okay, is 0. Okay, again, we choose the lower of the two. It's going to be 0. Okay, and that's how we do backward scanning. Okay, so we call this backward scanning. Actually, we use backward scanning to work out something called LST, which is latest start time versus earliest start time when we're doing forward scanning.